For centuries, leaders and philosophers have been wrestling with this one huge question. What is the absolute best way to get a group of people to work together? But it turns out the answer to that really depends on how you answer an even bigger question about humanity itself. And this is it. This is the foundational question. Are people, at their core, wired for conflict or for cooperation? Your gut answer here, well, that's going to shape every single leadership decision you ever make, whether you realize it or not. So let's bring in two philosophical heavyweights who had completely opposite takes on this, Thomas Hobbes and Immanuel Kant. For Hobbes, the answer was simple: conflict. For Kant, cooperation. And believe it or not, their two completely different philosophies laid the groundwork for leadership styles that we see all around us, every single day. Okay, so let's dive into Hobbes first. And I gotta tell you, he painted a pretty bleak picture of human nature. He basically argued that people are just, well, a bundle of selfish desires, that we're in this constant, restless search for power over each other. And if you believe that, it leads you down one path, a leadership model built entirely on control. And this famous quote, wow, it just perfectly captures his worldview. He really believed that without some kind of strong, controlling authority keeping everyone in check, life would be absolute chaos, just a constant battle for survival where it's every single person for themselves. Hobbes actually had a name for this chaotic free-for-all. He called it the state of nature. And let me tell you, it is not a fun place. We're talking about a state of perpetual war, just driven by our most basic, self-centered instincts. He argued that without rules, this is basically our factory default setting. So if that's the problem, what's the solution to this nasty, brutish existence? Well, for Hobbes, it was something he called the Leviathan. Think of it as a leader or a government with absolute total power. The deal is, people willingly give up their freedom, and in exchange, they get security and order. The whole point here, and this is crucial, is that leadership is all about preventing the worst in people from coming out. And you do that through fear and control. All right, but then, about a century later, Immanuel Kant shows up on the scene, and he offers a much more optimistic alternative. He argued that, hey, wait a minute, humans are more than just their base instincts. And that simple idea, it leads to a completely different leadership style, one based on freedom and enabling potential. Now, what's so cool about Kant's idea is this dualistic view of us. On one hand, he totally gets it. We have that empirical side, our animal instincts, our selfish desires. He's not denying that. But, and this is the game changer, he said we also have a rational side. We can use reason. We can act on moral principles, not just gut impulses. We can actually choose to be better. So for Kant, the whole point of society, of government, of leadership, isn't just to put a lid on our worst instincts. No, it's to create a system that actively enables our best selves to come out and play. The goal isn't just keeping order, it's about helping people reach their full potential, both rationally and morally. A leader's job, then, is to cultivate and grow people, not just command and control them. Okay, so we've got these two giant, kind of old philosophical ideas, right? You've got control on one side and enablement on the other. But you might be thinking, what on earth does any of this have to do with my actual life? With my job, with trying to lead a team today? Yeah, let's just ask it straight up. What does this centuries-old debate have to do with your Monday morning meeting? Or that project deadline that's staring you in the face? The answer is pretty much everything. These two mindsets, Hobbes versus Kant, are playing out in offices and on teams all over the world every single day. So that optimistic Kantian way of thinking, it has a modern name. The playbook for it today is called transformational leadership. And it's basically a practical guide for taking that hopeful view of people and actually putting it to work. So at its heart, transformational leadership is not about that top-down Hobbesian control. Not at all. It's all about creating valuable, positive change and, get this, empowering your team members to become leaders in their own right. The goal is literally to lift people up, not just keep them in line. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do you actually do that? Well, it's built on 4 key pillars. Let's just quickly walk through what each of these means in the real world, because this is where all that philosophy gets super practical. All right, first up, intellectual stimulation. A leader doing this isn't just barking orders. They're asking questions, they're challenging the status quo, the whole, but we've always done it this way thing. They actively encourage the team to get creative. I mean, this is pure Kant, right? It's trusting that people's rational minds will come up with amazing solutions if you just give them the freedom and space to think.
Pillar number 2 is individualized consideration. This is huge. It means you see each person on your team as an individual, not just a cog in the corporate machine. The leader here acts more like a coach or a mentor. They actually take the time to listen, to understand what each person needs, and to help them grow their strengths. It's all about having genuine respect for the person, not just the position they hold.
Next up, number 3, inspirational motivation. Now, this is a big one. Instead of motivating people with the fear of getting in trouble, the Hobbesian approach, this leader paints a really clear and compelling vision of the future. They give the work meaning. They help every single person on the team see exactly how what they do matters in the grand scheme of things.
And finally, the 4th pillar, idealized influence. This is where the leader doesn't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. They become a genuine role model. They earn trust and respect because they have high ethical standards, and their actions back up their words. It's about leading by example, inspiring people to want to follow you, not demanding they obey you.
So, all of this brings us right back to where we started. We've looked at 2 totally different paths for leadership, right? One is born from fear and the need for control. The other is born from a belief in freedom and human potential. And the thing is, this isn't just some dusty old historical debate. It's a choice. It's a choice every single leader makes, whether they think about it or not. Just look at how this plays out in the real world. You have the Hobbesian manager on one side. They believe people are fundamentally selfish, so they have to use fear to keep things from falling apart. Their primary tool? Coercive power. Then you have the transformational manager. They believe people are rational and can be inspired, so they use an exciting vision to help people grow. Their primary tool? Idealized influence. I mean, the contrast couldn't be more stark. It's night and day. So at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this. Your leadership style is a choice. One is born of fear, the other of potential. So, which one will you choose?